This section is going to cover in more detail why we procrastinate. So I think it's really helpful to get a really deep understanding of why we procrastinate. So one section will cover off that area, and the second section will cover off the procrastinator's code, which you'll understand once we get to that section. So why do we procrastinate? There are many, many reasons. It can be due to feelings such as anxiety, depression, feeling overwhelmed, perhaps having shame or frustration due to having to work on aversive tasks. A fear of failure impacts how we behave. So we might fear success or we might fear failure. Rumination, so sometimes we can think ourselves out of action. We think about things so much that we eventually persuade ourselves that maybe it's not worth the effort. Our personality has an impact as well. Studies have found that those who have low conscientiousness, perfectionistic qualities, low self-esteem, low self-efficacy, and low self-efficacy for regulation are more likely to be procrastinators. And the skills we have also have an impact. So if we have poor time management, we don't set goals, those kind of things, we're more likely to procrastinate. So just to go into a little bit more detail on a couple of those things. You can't control other people's responses to your work. And sometimes overvaluing these responses can cause undue anxiety. Some traits like perfectionism, which tends to mean we have unreachable standards, will discourage you from pursuing a task. And procrastination is sometimes considered double insurance. It can be a way of protecting our self-esteem. So for example, if I don't do well in an exam, it's only because I didn't study. And if I do well, I'm a genius because I didn't study. Sometimes we can be afraid of what might happen to us if we were successful. It sounds a little crazy, but with success comes lots of other things, including responsibility. And subconsciously, we may be afraid of that. There may also be a fear of losing control. So when feeling out of control, a person may develop a rebellious attitude in order to gain a greater sense of control. For example, my professor wants my assignment in at a certain date, but I'm going to submit it 2 weeks later. And that's my choice, because it makes me feel more in control.